Hello friends, Operator Starsky with the daily update from Ukraine. Today is day 530 of the terror-Russian collapse in Ukraine, and the enemy losses crossed the psychological mark of 250,000 dead invaders. Unfortunately, I found no ice cream in the area, but I will celebrate with this tasty dessert as soon as I finish making this video. It's kiwi. I love kiwi. Kiwi is nice. As a result of having low education, terminal addiction to alcohol, and increased stupidity, 540 Russian terrorists got demobilized on the Ukrainian territory in the past 24 hours and will fertilize tomatoes and pumpkins. By the way, it's watermelon season in Ukraine. Those bastards are really addictive. 7 tanks and 8 armored vehicles were confirmed toasted, as well as 16 terror Russian artillery systems and MLRS combined. Also, the armed forces of Ukraine showed new positions lost by the Russian terrorists in the area of Bakhmut, and I can confirm that the intensity of the Ukrainian efforts in the area is really high. Basically, the Russian terrorists are being shelled and stormed non-stop. 2 bridges connecting the Russian-occupied Crimea and part of the Russian-occupied Kherson Oblast got too tired to serve the Russian fascists and decided to take a rest after encountering the Ukrainian long-range missiles. Since the Russian logistics are so shitty, it will introduce additional problems for the Russian terrorists, and hopefully we will see the effects of those strikes in just several days. Meanwhile, yesterday we've received an interesting information regarding the Russian losers who wanted to trick the Ukrainian troops and, disguised as the soldiers of the armed forces of Ukraine, attempted to infiltrate our positions. According to the nagging Russian reporters, the imbeciles were obliterated by the Russian artillery, losing 32 men dead, but because stupid always get punished twice, the Russian artillery got spotted by the Ukrainian counter-battery measures and was hit, additionally losing 19 men dead. This is exactly how evolution works, guys. Also, we found out why the Russian widows give no damn about their mobilized husbands is because a healthy Russian man during his lifetime cannot earn as much money as a death compensation promised by the Russian terrorist regime to the Russian families. Therefore, the Russian widows find it more beneficial and more easier to bury their husbands than expect them to bring the similar income. All the participants of the Ukrainian Peace Summit in Saudi Arabia reached an agreement based on the principles of the international legislation, statute of the United Nations, and recognition of the territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. Specifically for all the degenerates who support the Russian claims that Ukraine never existed, the territorial integrity of our country was recognized even by the representatives of China and Brazil, who called to respect the integrity of Ukraine. Also, German Port Bremerhaven and Port Rotterdam in Netherlands will cooperate with Ukraine in terms of developing and rebuilding the Ukrainian naval infrastructure after the Russian terrorists are defeated. Peskov told the journalists of the New York Times that terror Russia wants to keep control over the captured Ukrainian territory that was declared part of the Russian Federation by the Russian fascists. Again, because you cannot lie forever about the genetically modified mosquitoes and fascist junta led by the Jewish Ukrainian president, sometimes even experienced liars like Peskov openly admit the real intentions of the Russian invasion in Ukraine, which is capturing and annexing the territories of the foreign country. Notorious Russian alcoholic Medvedev also confirmed that the Russian terrorists will only consider negotiating if the annexed territories of Ukraine are recognized as part of the terrorist federation. He also said that if Ukraine wants peace after being invaded by the Russia, we should beg the Russian fascists for forgiveness for being brave enough to defend our own land. Finally, the fascists openly admitted the real goals of the Russian war against Ukraine and the rest of the civilized world. Several days ago, it was reported that missiles were launched from the territory of Belarus at the Ukrainian cities, and yesterday, sources in the Ukrainian Air Force and the military intelligence of Ukraine suggested that in fact, the Russian fascists attempted to drag Belarusians into conflict by firing missiles from the territory of the Russian Tambov, with the trajectory crossing the Belarusian airspace, which apparently happened many times before. Meanwhile, in Belarus, I don't even know how to comment here. Insanely hot weather reported in Ukraine these days. The citizens are helping animals to withstand the heat, making sure birds, dogs and cats have easy access to water. Also, several days ago in Kiev, a little deer was found wounded. The citizens provided the little creature with medical treatment and hopefully it will recover soon. These two 10-year-old Ukrainian lads made a mobile game called Snake and published it in the App Store to raise funds for the Ukrainian troops. They managed to raise almost $800 and bought a drone with a thermal camera for the Ukrainian defenders. Silly Russian terrorists think they can defeat Ukraine, but this is exactly the reason why they will fail, because the Ukrainian desire to live will always be stronger than their intention to kill us. Have a great day, everyone. I'm gonna enjoy my dessert, and of course I will keep you updated with the recent news from Ukraine. My name is Operator Starsky, reporting from Donbass, Ukraine. As always, be safe.